When Zoya found a mysterious note in her bag, she had no idea it would lead to a conversation that would challenge her beliefs and change someone's heart forever. Zoya had always been strong in her faith. Moving abroad for higher studies was challenging, but she had made a firm decision. I will respect others, but I won't compromise my values. Then came February. The air on campus buzzed with excitement. Valentine's Day was approaching. Heart-shaped decorations, chocolates in every store, couples making grand plans. A classmate asked, "So, do you celebrate Valentine's?" Zoya smiled. Love isn't about a single day. True love is about sincerity, loyalty, and commitment. Zoya felt out of place. She thought, is love so shallow that it needs a day to be celebrated? What about sincerity, loyalty, and the kind of love Allah speaks about in the Quran? She reminded herself, in Islam, we have clear boundaries. A man and a woman who are non-mahram must interact with modesty and respect. The Quran says, tell the believing men to lower their gaze and guard their private parts. That is pure for them. Indeed, Allah is all aware of what they do. And tell the believing women to lower their gaze and guard their private parts, and not to expose their adornment except that which, necessarily, appears thereof, and to draw their headscarves over their chests, and not to expose their adornment except to their husbands, their fathers, their husbands' fathers, their sons, their husbands' sons, their brothers' sons, their sisters' sons, their women, their slaves, their male attendants who lack desire, or children who are not yet aware of the private aspects of women, and let them not stamp their feet to make known what they conceal of their adornment. And turn to Allah in repentance, all of you, O believers, that you might succeed. These boundaries aren't restrictions, they're protections, ensuring relationships remain dignified and halal. That evening, as she unpacked her bag, something unusual caught her eye. A small, folded paper. Meet me at the cafe at 4 p.m. I have something important to tell you. Your admirer. Zoya's heart skipped a beat. Who could have written this? Was it a joke? Should she go? After a silent prayer, she made a decision, not out of interest, but to set things right. At 4 p.m., she entered the cafe. Her eyes scanned the room. And then, she saw him. Bilal. A classmate. He sat at the corner table, fidgeting with a small box. She took a deep breath and walked over. Bilal? You wrote the note? His face turned slightly red. Yeah, I needed to talk to you. He slid the small box toward her. Open it. Inside was a delicate bracelet. I admire you, Zoya. You're different. You hold on to your beliefs, no matter what. And I like that about you. Zoya was taken aback. She had always seen Bilal as a classmate and respected their limited, formal interactions. She carefully placed the box back on the table. Bilal, I need to be honest with you. Love in Islam isn't about secret meetings or gifts. It's about sincerity and respect, following a path that brings blessings, not regret. Then, she recited, and among his signs is this, that he created for you mates from among yourselves, that you may dwell in tranquility with them, and he has put love and mercy between your hearts. Real love isn't about a moment, it's about a lifetime. If someone truly cares, they choose the halal path. Even the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, warned against imitating non-Islamic practices. He said, whoever imitates a people is one of them. Bilal frowned. But Zoya, love is natural. Shouldn't people express their feelings before involving families? How can you marry someone you barely know? Zoya paused. He had a point. Islam doesn't forbid knowing someone, but it sets boundaries. If a person is sincere, they seek the right way. Halal love isn't about avoiding feelings, it's about protecting them. Bilal leaned forward, his mind conflicted. So, what if someone genuinely wants to do things the right way? Would you still say no? Then came the twist. Bilal sighed. I wasn't just asking you out. I was planning to talk to your family about a marriage proposal. But I was scared. I didn't know if you'd even consider it. Zoya was surprised. This wasn't just a casual confession. He had thought about this seriously. She smiled. Bilal, if that's truly your intention, then take the right steps. Speak to my family. Approach this in a way that pleases Allah. That's the only way this could work. For the first time, Bilal looked relieved. But then, Zoya's voice softened. Bilal, tell me something. Do you think a person's love is greater than the love of Allah? Bilal blinked. What do you mean? Zoya took a deep breath. If our love for someone leads us away from Allah, can it ever bring us real happiness? Allah's love is greater than any haram relationship because it is pure, unconditional, and everlasting. People change. Feelings fade. But Allah's love, it never leaves us. Bilal fell silent. She continued, Allah says in the Quran, and those who believe are stronger in love for Allah. The love of a person might bring happiness for a moment, but the love of Allah brings peace forever. Bilal sighed deeply. He had never thought about love that way before. A few weeks later, Zoya received a message. I spoke to my mother about approaching your family properly. You were right, true love is about honor, not secrecy. And Allah's love is the only love that lasts forever. Thank you for making me realize that. Bilal reached out to Zoya's father, expressing his genuine intentions. That night, as she read the Quran, she reflected on a verse, and do not approach unlawful sexual intercourse. Indeed, it is ever an immorality and is evil as a way. She smiled. Islam's boundaries weren't restrictions. They were blessings. Whether or not Bilal was her future, she knew one thing. She had helped guide someone toward a better understanding of love in Islam. True love isn't about fleeting gestures. It's about devotion, sincerity, and choosing a path that brings you closer to Allah.